Honored to interview you. You're doing a lot of great things, and I wanted to just hear a little bit about what you had going on. Tell me a little bit about where you received your nursing degree from.
I started off at a community college in Oceanside, which is in San Diego, California. And then I came to Atlanta to go to Georgia State University. So I got my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing at Georgia State in Atlanta.
Okay, great, great. How was your experience at a large university like that? Did you enjoy it?
I love Georgia State. I love, love, love Georgia State. If I could go back, for my master's, I probably would.
Okay.
Even though it's a big school, the nursing community in Atlanta is very small. So, like our nursing class, we were just one big family. I love Georgia State.
Awesome. Now, did you have a little bit of a social life in college? Because that's a good question that I get from a lot of nurses is how do you maintain a life? Did you have a life at all, or did you spend most of your times in your book?
I didn't spend too much time in my books. I wasn't like a huge partier in college, but I felt like I had like my fair share of like free time and my fair share of playtime. Like I had a good school and fun life balance. When
Okay, great. That's good to hear because I hear people, when you first start nursing school, they tell you all you can do is study. That's all you can do. And I really promote good work-life balance because that's important. So I
Yeah.
want to know a little bit about your first job as a nurse. What did you decide to do as your first job as a nurse?
My first job as a nurse was at a medical ICU at Grady Hospital, which is in downtown Atlanta. And for those of you who don't know what Grady Hospital is, it's a level one trauma center literally in the middle of downtown. So I always kind of playfully call it the zoo. And it really is the toughest experience just mentally, emotionally, scholastically. So I started off straight from school. I walked right down the street from Georgia State. They're like a block apart, and went down and applied for a job in ICU straight out of nursing school as a new grad. So that's
That's
kind of my
That's
experience.
pretty intense. You went in full force. And do you feel good about that decision? Would you have done anything differently, like maybe go to med surge first, or do you feel like you went the right path?
I personally feel I went the right path, but the great thing about a lot of hospitals in Atlanta is they have what are called nurse externship programs, and those are basically student nursing positions. So maybe the first 8 weeks or so, a lot of nursing students will work side by side with a nurse and shadow a nurse, and then transition over to a patient care tech or a CNA role. Grady Hospital, you continue to work side by side with the nurse. So I worked when I was a nurse extern. I was in med surg for 1 year, and then I was in ICU as a nurse extern for 6 months. And I felt like that helped me transition into a lot easier after I was a new grad, because I felt like the little things like, where do I find this? Where do I find that? Who do I call? Who are my resources? I knew those when I started orientation after I had gotten my license. So I feel like if you didn't have that experience, I probably would have started in med surg had I not been a nurse extern first.
That's awesome. And you seem very well, you're very well versed in your career and you're very well experienced, especially for your age. That's one of the reasons that I chose you for Nurse of the Month.
Thank
And
you.
so tell me about what you're doing now. Like, where are you growing in your nursing career? What's next for you?
Now, I just recently, well, 6 months ago, I got promoted to senior staff nurse. So now I've been charging and precepting. Yes, yes, yes. It's brutal. I feel like I'm back in orientation again because it's just a new transition into a new role. It's so much more responsibility, but that's what I'm doing actually in hospital. And out of hospital, I'm lecturing at Georgia State University as a guest lecturer in their senior nursing course, as well as I just applied to and got accepted into several CRNA schools. So I'll be starting nurse anesthesia school really soon.
Congratulations. That is amazing.
Yay!
That is amazing.
So excited.
Congratulations. You're doing so many positive things. Do you have any advice for young girls who are pursuing nursing or just trying to find their way as a new nurse? Like what's one thing that you would suggest for them?
Ah, there are so many. let me try and think of like one thing
Okay.
in particular. I think when you're a new nurse, you have to explore and you have to find your niche. I feel like everybody kind of, when I was in nursing school, was like, oh, I'm either going to be an L&D or I'm going to be in the ICU and I'm going to go to CRNA school. That might not be for you. That might not be your path. So just take time to explore. You might really love med-surg. You might really love mother baby. You might really love psych nursing. So my biggest advice is to, when you're in nursing school, talk to the nurses on the floor in your clinical rotations and try and, immerse yourself in every experience so you can find out what you really love. And once you think you love it, find out more about it, research more about it, work more at it, and learn more about it so that you can see if it's for you. And once you do that, just be steadfast in your decisions and don't be afraid to explore different things. Don't be afraid to explore different options in different areas. That's the beauty of nursing, is that we just have so much flexibility and we have so many opportunities and so many options. If I didn't like working at Grady, I could, go to a number of different hospitals with different experiences and different patient populations. So just find your niche and do you and explore and don't be tied down to one thing. You don't have to be tied down to one thing.
Snow, it has been truly an honor interviewing you and speaking to you and getting you to provide so much information for girls that and guys that are interested in pursuing nursing. To have a woman of color that is under 30, that has received a Daisy Award, that is senior staff nurse, that is pursuing her CRNA, and that is active in the community, it's really an honor to speak to you. And I thank you for your time. So thank you so much. I wrote a little article about you and a bunch of questions that you answered, so I encourage everyone to check it out. Nice meeting you and nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Thanks, Nurse Mo.
Bye.
Bye.